How's it going, guys? I'm Videobob, and this is my 2019 Lamborghini Urus. This is a video for anybody who's thinking about buying one of these cars. Before you do so, you should watch this video all the way through. So yeah, I've had this car for a minute. This is a 2019, so this is a used car. It has about 66,000 miles on it. And we're going to talk about what I paid for it, what I've spent on it since I've bought it. I want to talk about the experience of what it was like looking for this car, buying the car, doing some maintenance on the car, and what it's like owning and driving it. So if you've been looking for one of these, this is a video that I'm making just for you. Now, if you go down to your Lamborghini dealer and you look at the new versions of these, they're not much different 5-6 years later, and you're going to pay $300,000, give or take, for these cars. The Performante is a little bit different. You have the S and then the base model. This one, being the first generation, is basically what we call the base model. And up until 2022, you could get the full insert seats like I have, where you have the red and everything. The current models, they only do color on just the sides of the seats. But really, you're not getting too much difference. I mean, the car has, what, 650 horsepower, 850 pounds of torque. Goes about 190 miles an hour unless you tune it to go a little faster. You're not going to be going that fast anyway, because this is a little bit of it's a soccer mom car, let's admit it. And there's people out there that'll say, look, it's just part of the Volkswagen group, you know, it shares parts with Audi, Bentley, Porsche, all these things. And that's true. And I think those are pluses, and I'm going to explain to you why. So when I set out to buy one of these, I was looking all over the place, and I wanted to get the best deal that I could. And being that I know how to work on these cars, I was willing to have one that was higher mileage, maybe needed a little work. After I did a little trade and a little finagling with the seller, basically paid about $160,000 for the car. Matter of fact, by touching the door handle, it just locked itself because the key's in my pocket. Sorry. Anyway, one of the features. So if I'd have known a little bit more about these cars, I think I might have negotiated a little harder. Because what I've found is not that many people actually own these. Most of the people who buy these cars, only about a third of them pay cash like I do and own the car, or at least buy them new that way. About a third of the people finance them, and they'll never pay it off. They'll always get rid of it before it's due. And then another third of the people lease the cars. And I've heard people argue that that's the way to do it. I talked to a salesman. He said, yeah, they put down like 50 grand down, and then they're paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month. They're going to end up paying $200,000 for the car, which doesn't include things like tires. They're going to turn in the car. They get nothing in return, and they've just wasted all that money. I go, but why wouldn't you just go buy a used one for that money? They go, well, they don't want a used one. They want a new one. I go, but the thing is the minute you leave the parking lot, you're now driving a used Lamborghini that's dropped in value and depreciated. So at a car that's like 5 years old with 50, 60,000 miles, this car is perfectly fine, but I had to do some things. So here's some things that I've noticed about a lot of the, dare I say, wannabe people that lease, finance these cars. They don't buy them. And these are things that they do before they get rid of the car. For one, you're going to need tires. You can only get 2 sets of tires for this car. The tires are Pirellis, and they're stamped with an L for Lamborghini. There's Lamborghini partnered tires with Pirelli that have this L on them, and you can only get them from, you can buy them from other sources like Discount Tire, Tire Rack, but I actually found that buying them directly from the Lamborghini Audi dealer was cheaper. And they have a special tool for the lug nuts, and they balance them, and if you put the wrong wheels on the car, the transmission doesn't like it, it'll throw a code. So there's only 2 tires you can get, the regular summer tires and then the Scorpion winter tires. What you'll find is you'll find people selling these cars used that have second, third owners on them, and either the tires are bald or they put the winter tires on them because they're half as much, or maybe even some other knockoff brand, and you're going to have problems. Trust me on this particular point, because I do a lot of shenanigans with the car. Just go to the dealer and get your tires. How much are the tires? You're looking at just over $4,000. The tires are about, $900 to $1,000 each, plus installation, balance. Pirellis don't come with warranties. You're just going to have to deal with them. So Tires. So when you buy one of these, have an extra 4 or 5 grand in the pile ready to go for tires. Now, there are things you can do yourself. I mean, you can change the oil yourself. I did. In the previous video, I changed the oil. A little bit of a pain. But if you're trying to save money and the cost of ownership, you've only got to do that maybe once a year. Now, if you want to take it to the dealer and spend a grand and have them change the oil, then do so. But changing the oil is something you can do yourself. Let's talk about these earlier models. I just posted a video about the batteries in these things. Well, the early models, just like the Bentley Bentayga and the Porsche Cayenne and others that share the same system, they came with a lithium-ion battery. They were trying to save weight, and this was high-tech, but they started having problems with the batteries, and you can't even get new replacements for them. So they have a retrofit that they do. The dealer will charge you as much as $7,000 to retrofit the battery. Go back and watch the video I just did the other day. You can put in a regular AGM battery that you get from the dealer for about $350. Then you can get a custom cable harness for about $200 and do the work yourself, or have a local shop do it for you and spend maybe less than $1,000 to have it done, rather than paying the exorbitant amount, and the car will be perfectly fine. There's other little repairs I've made, but you'll find that a lot of these cars get wrapped. Most of the cars that have wraps are going to be white or black underneath, interestingly, because the other cars that have the unique colors to them, people want those colors. This car was wrapped red, and I might wrap it red again. It's hard to find some of the red cars if you're like me and like a red one. Out here in Las Vegas where I am, having a white car is kind of preferred, and red is a good one, silver is a good one, but I have found driving this thing around as a white car, nobody notices it. It's not like people go crazy over it. 10, 12-year-old kids notice it, but the average person doesn't really notice the car, because all these SUVs kind of look the same. And really, that's kind of the point with this car. It's a subtle Lamborghini, which is a strange thing to say. Has kind of a regular engine and a kind of a regular transmission. It's got a few weird things that are a little bit different than the regular shifter that you're used to. You pull the paddle shifter to go into gear and to drive. There's another way to put it into reverse. I couldn't figure out how to put it into manual when I was going through the car wash. But by the way, you pull both paddles and it'll go into neutral. Now, there's other naysayers out there that go, listen, this is just a four-door soccer mom car. This is not a real Lamborghini. It's just an Audi SQ8. Let me tell you something. I will disagree with you. I've owned some really cool cars. I own some really cool cars, and I could tell you this. This is a real Lamborghini. Oh, for sure. You put this thing in Corsa. It's in manual mode. It drops. The pipes open up, and it's a beast. I mean, it's every bit up there with the Hellcats and a lot of other. I mean, it's not slow. It's not slow. The brakes on this thing are some of the biggest in the world. Let's talk about the brakes. While I was at the dealer, they looked at my carbon ceramic rotors, which are about $7,000 a piece, and they looked at my pads and they go, "You're going to need new front brake pads. That'll be $4,000." Now, luckily, you don't have to do that very often. But if you're on the secondary market buying a car that might have had 2, 3 owners, plan on putting brake pads on the car and tires. Now you're up to almost, what, 8 grand right there. Okay, maybe 10, depending on what you're doing. So these are some things I want you to look at when you go look at one of these if you're thinking about buying one. Check out the tires, check out the brake pads, and quite frankly, if I were you, I wish I had taken this thing to an Audi Lamborghini dealer and got a pre-purchase inspection and just spent the money. Because the little bit of money I could have spent on that quick little inspection, I could have used to argue and negotiate with the seller and maybe have bought the car for $10,000 or $20,000 cheaper. Honestly, these are things that you're going to run into. Now, as far as like major mechanical stuff, yeah, those are really bad things. Blown engines, blown transmissions, things like that. I haven't seen a lot of that really talked about. I'm in some Lamborghini groups, Lamborghini Urus forum and things, and I haven't seen too many people experience major problems. The car's only been around 5 years, and it's a very reliable car. The fact that the engine and a lot of other things are shared with other really popular cars is the greatest thing that could have ever happened to the Urus, honestly. A lot of people cry about parts bin cars, but it makes it much more easy to get, for instance, the $25 oil filter and the $50 air box filter and some of those things. Now, these tires are 23s. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one of the cars with the 21s or 22s, you're going to have a lot more tire options. But you're still going to want to get Lamborghini approved tires that have the L on them. The cars are very, very sensitive because they're four-wheel drive and have rear wheel steering. There's just certain things about the car that's very precision. And whereas I am somebody who will definitely ghetto up one of my hoopty cars and sometimes do a little duct tape engineering. This is just not one of those cars. It's a very sensitive car. Let me give you an example. It's got a program in it called precognition, where it reads the road ahead of you. If you thinks you're going to wreck or something, it will flash at you through the heads-up display or even apply the brakes. And I kept getting a precognition error. It kept popping up. I was on the forum and somebody else was talking about it, and they said, do you have any dummy clips in your seatbelts? You know, you can get a little dummy clip and put it in your seatbelt to fool the seatbelt, think it's plugged in. Sometimes you want to put something in the seat and the airbag sensor wants to go off, or thinks there's a baby in the seat, or use a seatbelt extender rather. And turns out I was using those. I took them out, thing went away. Who would have thought that those two things would be related? So am I saying that the car is full of problems? No. What I'm saying is this car wants to be left alone. It doesn't want to have custom wheels. It doesn't want to have other things added to it. You're buying it as it is. And if you respect it and treat it well, it will treat you well. I mean, this car has 66,000 miles, so obviously it'll make it that far. I think that these engines will probably go easily 200,000 miles if well maintained. And by the way, here's some things you want to look for. You know, when you have cars that have had multiple owners, usually it's like young people, they've been dogging the car, hot rodding the car. You want to look out for cars that have been rented. Young people that are renting the cars, what are they going to do? They're going to hot dog the car, man. They want to rev it up. They want to burn the tires. They want to test it out. Are those cars being maintained at the dealer? Get a Carfax and find out its history. How many owners has it had? How has it been treated? You have to ask yourself, how much work are you willing to do as an owner? Are you the kind of person like me that changes your own oil and will do your own brake pads and do that kind of work? I am. So I particularly live luxuriously through depreciation. So people who've been watching my channel since 2007 know that I have a great collection of fun cars. The Rolls-Royce Phantom, the Rolls-Royce Corniche, DeLoreans, all kinds of fun cars. And I do that through depreciation, buying the cars at sometimes as low as 10% of their original selling price. So I've put together a fantastic collection of cars that I can drive a different one every day of the week for the cost of what only one luxury car would have cost. So I have this Lamborghini Urus, I have my Rolls-Royce Phantom, I have my Rolls-Royce Corniche, I have a couple other fun, really cheap replica cars like my replica Testarossa and my replica Countach. Those are just fun cars. Have the DeLorean Time Machine, Knight Rider, because I love the 80s. And of course my big pickup truck that I have back behind me, you can't see. So these aren't, I'm not saying this to flex to you. I'm trying to explain to you that using my methods and using my, the way I do things, rather than spending $300,000-$400,000 on one extremely high-end luxury car, you could have an entire collection of cars for much, much, much less than that. And this is the most expensive car I've ever bought. I think the most expensive vehicle I ever bought was my Prevost tour bus, which I no longer have. And that was a pretty expensive purchase. You know, those things go for a lot of money. I mean, a new Prevost bus is a couple of $1 million, but the one I had was a 1990, and I bought it for 10% of its original sale price. So the thing is if you're interested in having particularly the Lamborghini Urus or any other supercar, just pay attention to things like the tires, the wheels, and some of the maintenance. Now, what does the maintenance cost? I'm only going to drive this car about 5,000 miles a year. I'm sure that these tires are going to last me at least 3 years. So for me, I'm going to say that I'm going to buy a set of tires about every 3 to 4 years. Because these Pirellis, after about 3 years, they're pretty toast, especially here in Vegas. Changing the oil out of pocket cost me about $200. I'm going to do that at least once a year, or maybe even sooner than that, maybe every 8 months or so. It just depends on how much driving I'm doing, simply because probably once a year. I change my oil about every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, even though it's recommended to go as far as 10. I would never do that. At its age, probably when it gets to about 75,000 miles, it's going to need a transmission service, and that's probably going to cost a few $1,000s. Insurance, that's an impossible question to answer. I'm 50 years old. I have no accidents. I have no tickets. I'm a homeowner, and I have multiple homes, properties, and cars on my State Farm policy. I'm paying about $160 a month for my full coverage insurance with a $1,000 deductible. And I may raise that deductible higher to get it down even lower. So I'm only paying a couple $1,000s a year to drive this car. So as an older person that's a homeowner who's been married for 25 years, I get a great rate. If you're a young person, not married, don't own a home, you're going to have a completely different experience. You're going to be paying a lot more money. Now, one of the downsides of having the first generation, this car was actually made at the end of 2018, but sold as a 2019. There's a few things that you can't get for this car, can't do. One of the things that I would recommend is if you can afford to spend the extra money, and you're going to spend at least $200,000 to buy a 2022, 2023, whatever. But the later versions that came out had the Lamborghini app that would allow you to remote start and track the vehicle and things. This car doesn't have any remote start, has no ability to put in remote start. I think maybe aftermarket you could, but for me in Vegas, that's kind of a thing. Even if you're 50 feet from the car walking from the store and you start it, that extra 30 seconds that you help blow the heat out of there helps. So there's no remote start kit. And I don't think that there's built-in vehicle tracking for this. I'll have to double check, but I always put a tracking device on the vehicle. Keys, right? Now I put this nice cool red aluminum car cover on my key. The key from the dealer is about $600 and it takes about a month to get it. And you have to show ownership papers. Now, come to think of it, I don't know where probably this cover comes off. I haven't really investigated it, but somewhere on this vehicle must be a place for the actual physical key to go. I haven't investigated that. Probably this pops off. I'll have to check. Accessories that come with the car, you'll have to take a look at some of those things. I'm doing videos about all of these. So this video is really made for someone exactly looking to buy a Lamborghini Urus. Now, you might be watching this just because you're a fan of my videos or you're just fascinated with the whole concept. A comment that I see all the time in my videos, by the way, I just wanted to say this, is that comments all the time when I'm working on the Rolls Royce or working on this car or one of my others, people will say, Bob, you talk to us like we own a Rolls Royce or like we own one of these. Well, there's tens of thousands of people who do. And the thing is as these cars come onto the secondary market, and they've been around for a while. My Rolls Royce is a 2006. I mean, the car is coming up on 20 years old. The thing is they're getting much, much cheaper, much, much more affordable. And I just try to give words of encouragement to some of my fans that are watching and go, look, 10 years ago, I was in a very different place. And in the last 10 years, I've come really far. And I never in a million years ever believed, since I was a 16-year-old kid dreaming of owning a real Lamborghini, that I ever would actually own a real Lamborghini. And it's been a whirlwind. It's just every time I get in this car and I see that name badge, right, my heart just, it's just an amazing feeling. And what I like to say to the hopefuls out there is don't give up on your dreams. You never know what could come, around the corner for you. As these get cheaper and as you make a little bit more money, it could happen for you one day. And I hope it does. Because as you get closer to 40, 50 years old, and you've done the right things and you've paid your bills and you kept your credit up and you pay off your house and you maybe have kids and they move out, you finally get to a point where, you can buy one of these. So my advice is just don't buy things you can't afford, like I was talking about earlier. I paid cash for this car. If you just stick to that one rule in your life, you'll never be in debt. You'll never be in debt. I'm in a place in my life now, my house is paid off, my cars are paid off. I have zero debt except for my revolving credit that I have on my credit cards. That's where you want to be. So I know that you want to show off, you want to keep up with the Joneses, you want to live those dreams, but you can't afford it yet. Just please, if I can give you any advice that you listen to, go buy a beater for cash and save your money. Invest in property. Listen, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a 9th grade dropout mechanic. All right? So all I could tell you is this. Pay cash for things. Don't get in debt. Stay out of trouble. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. Okay? So a lot of people can't hang with that kind of discipline. And listen, I'm not disciplined as well as I should be. Have you seen the things I eat? So I'm just trying to encourage some of the people who comment and say, I'll never. Don't ever say that. Because if you believe in yourself and you want it bad enough, you can make it happen. So that's what this video was about. This video was there to encourage you, maybe if this is really what you want. And I've spent about $10,000 on this car since I bought it, putting tires on it, fixing things, replacing stuff that was missing. And I'm one of those anal kind of people that I like to have everything. I want to have every part of the manual and the toolkit and the everything, right? The floor mats. I want to have everything perfect, and I want it to be stock. Okay, I'm not going to put goofy stuff on the car. That's not my style. No. So I probably rambled on way too long, and you probably clicked off here by now. If you're still watching, I hope that you get the car of your dreams. And maybe it's not the Urus, maybe it's something else. I'm just trying to use this as an example from my experience of owning many cars and working on many cars. So I just wanted to kind of share this for the other prospective Urus owners out there. Go join the Lamborghini Urus groups that are on Facebook. You might see me on there. Watch some of my other videos on the stuff I'm doing, and there will be more videos. Just to give you a taste of what I'm working on next, I bought what's called the Lamborghini Eye, which is a dash cam system that mounts in here. That's going to be fun to install. I may do some cosmetic things. Like I said, we're thinking about wrapping the car. What I want to do is a satin finish red with some carbon fiber accents. I really like that. What else are we going to do to the car? We're just going to drive the hell out of it and enjoy it. And this is a daily driver car. I use this to go to Costco. I went to the post office a little bit ago and picked up a big box that was shipped to me. I go to Home Depot in this thing. It's a work truck. There's tons of room in the back. There's a lot of room in the, you've probably seen Doug DeMuro and all the other videos out there. You can fit full-size adults back here, no problem. Getting in and out, tons of room. It's quite frankly, just an everyday car. It's kind of uneventful until you put it into Corsa mode. And then it becomes an absolute beast. I'm telling you, it's a beast. So anybody out there who wants to just call it a Volkswagen Audi and just say, oh, it's not a real Lamborghini, has clearly never ridden in one and never driven one and has never put it into sport Corsa mode, hit those flappy paddles and let loose in it. Because let me tell you, you'll pee yourself. It's for real. It's legit. But it's also a soccer mom car you take to Costco. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Hope it wasn't too boring. I just can't say enough good things about this car. Tune in and subscribe if you like to see more content. My name is Videobob. I'm here in Las Vegas. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.